Hey everyone, welcome back to another live stream with Geezer Skate. I am your shinless, chinless, and somewhat, not really, not quite sinless host Josh. So glad to see you guys back. And today we're talking about the announcement of the U.S. men's and women's skateboard team in the Olympics. But we'll talk about that right after this.
Get off my lawn!
And as usual, we have our co-host, Nate from Geezer Skate with us. Hey Nate, what's up, buddy?
Hello, hello. How's it going out there?
Oh man, it's going great over here in Funky Town.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The FW?
Yeah, the FW for sure. The FW, man. Not as much of a trending topic, though, as the 16 that were named to the U.S. skateboarding team. That's 8 males and 8 females.
That's right. In 4 different disciplines. Well, I guess 2 different disciplines, technically. Park and street. So, but 4 men in the park, 4 men in the street, 4 ladies in the park, and 4 ladies in the street.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. So they named all of them today, or did they name just the street team?
They named all of them today.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, you know, I just found an article from ESPN that said that 16 were named. And this is, of course, the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo.
Yes, happening next year.
Yeah, happening next year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, some big names in there.
Yeah, big names for sure, and you know, this is a hugely controversial topic among a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether or not skateboarding should even be in the Olympics.
Yeah, so we can get to that, but let's talk a little bit about, you know, the team first of all, and some of the people that have been named in on the team.
Sure.
You know, honestly, I don't recognize all of the names when I was looking at it. I mean, they're some of them for sure you recognize. So, go ahead and name some of those, starting with men's.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, if you don't mind reading off, because I don't have that list in front of me here.
All right, well, you're going to have to forgive me on some of these pronunciations, because I don't have that right. But we do know Zion Wright.
Yeah, not to be confused with Zion, the basketball player who blew out his shoes last month.
That
is not the same guy there.
Also true. And then there's
hopefully he will keep his shoes on during this competition.
I hope so. I mean, he should be wearing different type of shoes for this.
Yeah, hopefully not Nike basketball shoes.
No. And Nate, you're frozen again, but I really like the pose.
Guns of guns!
I know, dude. It's okay, though. But I really like the pose that you're frozen in. But I want to say, give a shout out to Video Zeus. What's up, man? I think that's Brian. Hey, Brian, what's up, buddy?
As in Geezer Brian, or
no,
some other
different
Brian?
Different Brian.
Okay.
From the video world of worlds.
Oh, cool.
But
well,
continuing with the men's park, we have Tristan Rennie, Tom, and how do you pronounce his last name? Shar? I think it's Shar, but I'm not 100% on that. And this stuff we're going to be learning over time, of course. I know a lot of you guys probably already know who a lot of these skaters are. And then there's Alex Sargente in the men's park. And moving on to men's street, we have Chris Joslin. Is that Jagger Eaton?
Jagger or Jager.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure about that when I saw the name. And then Louis Lopez. And then, of course, everyone knows.
And our boy Luis of the Lou Crew will be super psyched about the Louis Lopez inclusion there. I know he's a big fan of his. So.
Oh, awesome.
Luis, yeah, that's your boy there, riding for Flip out there.
All right. Well, what's up? What's up, Louis and Louis? Cool. Like they have similar names or something.
I know.
And then, of course, we have. You want to go ahead and talk about this guy? I don't know if he's still sponsored by Elements, but he was at one point.
Yeah, Nigel Huston. I know his big sponsor is Nike.
Yeah, it's huge, man. That's a huge thing, and we'll get into the corporate aspect of skateboarding And, you know, we talked a little bit about that in our Transworld video not too long ago, our premiere. But let's move on to the women's. And in the women's, we have in the women's part, we have Brighton Zuner. I want to pronounce it like that. Bryce Wetstein, Jordan Barrett, Nicole House. I'm not sure how to pronounce that because it's not spelled like house. And then in the women's street, we have Alexis Sablon, and I know I'm botching and butchering a lot of these names, I'm sure. Jen Soto.
We apologize to everybody in advance.
Yeah, so big apologies there.
Yeah.
Lacey Baker, I think I said Jen Soto, Mariah Duran in the women's street. So that is the U.S. skateboarding team for 2020 Summer Olympics. Wow, it's crazy.
And something interesting to note from other articles I've read today, other people can eventually join the U.S. skateboarding team. This is just the list as of now.
So in what way are they going to be able to join the skateboarding team? Are they going to add to it, or are they going to like replace people?
It could be a little bit of both. It sounds like.
Wow.
Because I know Sean White is a possibility, and he is training for it. So, but then there's also the members that have been chosen have to make it through qualifying rounds through the rest of this year and into next year before the Olympics start.
Oh wow! So they could actually lose their place.
From what I understand, if I'm reading it correctly, and you know, I read several articles on it today. I'm hoping I understand that correctly. Correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, please do down in the comments below. So that's crazy. I wonder if it works like the same way in like swimming and gymnastics and all your other, you know, typical type of Summer Olympics. If, you know, people lose their spots.
I would have to assume so.
I mean, outside of injury. I'm talking about outside of injury.
Right, yeah. No, just to keep it fair, I would think that, you know, and unfortunately, I don't know a lot about, you know, I mean, I'm familiar a little bit with, you know, the concept of the Olympics and how, you know, people train and they, you know, do qualifying meets and things throughout the years before leading up to Olympics. And so I assume that that's kind of how it is for everybody.
Yeah. Well, a quick shout out to She Skates. She's here with us saying hello. She Skates 926.
Oh, hey!
Hey, what's up? Good to see you here.
Yes, heck yes.
But man, that's really interesting that, you know, they kind of have to hold their spot over time. And, you know, curiously, it would be curious to know how many people are allowed on the team in total, you know, in each event or each what you call it, like discipline.
Yeah, no, I read some articles about that too, and I'm blanking on the exact thing because, you know, some countries aren't going to have, you know, that many people to send total.
Yep.
So what's interesting though, it sounds like, you know, from each of these, you know, 4 people who are competing in each of these things, you know, obviously, people will get eliminated from those things and not be able to go further up. But then it sounds like from other countries, you know, from where they're not going to have, you know, that many people to, you know, that will participate, that they'll go farther just by default because they don't have that many people to eliminate.
Oh wow!
So they're, you know,
yeah, that's true.
Eliminated completely, you know. So, you know, like, so with our team, say like Nija, you know, just completely blows his runs, and he's eliminated in the first day or something.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, like say Tasmania has, you know, 2 skaters in there, and they're, you know, qualify or, you know, keep, you know, going until, you know, the last day or something, and then they get blown out of the water by Japan or somebody.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be interesting how this is judged as well, and that's, you know, part of the controversy right now. They're hoping that, you know, because it's some kind of world organization? What's the name of that organization that is currently running this thing?
I think it's the World Skate Federation.
Okay. But
or
no,
something along those lines.
No, from what I understood when I was watching, Dale Decker, he was talking about how, this organization includes like hockey and other completely different sports, but it says skating and downhill like inline and things like that as well. So it's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, no, it will be very interesting to see. I would imagine though that they would have like some of the judges that are regulars on, say, the X Games or the Vans Park Series and those kind of events there that are kind of being used as qualifying runs for the Olympics.
Yeah, true. And we have Jeremy Vest with us. He's saying, "Nice, Team USA." So that makes that kind of leads me over to, is this a good or a bad thing for skateboarding? And I would like for you guys down in the comments or chat below, put hashtag for or against. If you're for it being in the Olympics, put for. If you're against it, put against. So what do you think, Nate? Do you think that this, the fact that skateboarding is going to be in the Olympics is bad for the sport or art?
Overall, no, I don't think so. I think, there's a lot of kids out there who will be inspired by this to get on a board, and it will, gain, way more exposure than it does, just through, day-to-day normal things. So I think, and just in terms of, a certain type of skateboarding, a certain type of kids that would get into skateboarding, I think it's a great thing. And then, of course, there's going to be other people who just think that, oh, this isn't what skateboarding's about. Skateboarding's just about going out and doing your own thing, and, not skating for competition, not skating for, Olympic glory or things like that, which, that's valid, because, obviously we don't skate in competitions. If we ever get into a competition, it will be a competition of who can suck more.
Yeah, I could see that. So Jeremy says that he's for this, and he says that most skaters think it's bad. He says that that he thinks it's going to sell more boards and bring more people to the park. And I guess that's a good thing, because we're getting recognition by the mainstream population, by cities that see skateboarders on the street. They're not putting up as many signs saying get off my lawn and things like that, but instead of just screaming and yelling at the skateboarders, maybe they're going to do like Collin County has done and build a bunch more skate parks. So maybe this will help that fact. So instead of having one skate park in a region, maybe you have 10 skate parks in a region.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for that, because in the DFW Metroplex, we're getting skate parks at a pretty high rate, which is great. But there's still areas that are underserved with skate parks, so there's still opportunities out there, especially I know out towards your way, for more skate parks.
Out toward, I guess it's kind of between us. So in like the Louisville and Roanoke area, there are a couple down in Arlington. But the crazy thing is, where I am here in Fort Worth, there's one skate park, and it's way south where nobody is. It's growing fast, don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot of people down there currently. But there are plans, and I'll have to talk about this at some point in the future. There are plans for a skate park north of here in the Alliance Park that's supposed to be built here in the next couple of years. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
That's a totally different topic. Jeremy's saying that hopefully Jeremy's saying that hopefully the skaters can pass the drug tests. So
yeah, and that's another thing that a topic of controversy is yes, there is the stereotype that skateboarders tend to be on the drugs and things like that. So yes, it will be interesting to see. They will have to participate in a drug test just like everybody else who participates.
Well, they've got a year and a half or so to get it, or no, a year. Yeah, about a year and a half, maybe a little less to get it out of their system. So I guess they've got time to sober up or whatever at this point. And dude, you're still frozen. I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix that in the meantime. Your face looks goofy, but we're just gonna roll with it, okay?
Sir.
Oh,
that could become a meme right there.
It could. We should make one right now. So we've got Crystal Burns in the house. What's up, Crystal? Good to see you again.
Crystal!
We have Jeff Hawk, H-A-U-K. He is in the
house
saying that Jeff's is saying that he is for it. He is for skateboarding in the Olympics.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeff.
So cool to see you here, Jeff. Thanks for joining our stream today. Here's I think maybe kind of a negative is, and I think the guy's name is Josh Katz. Is that right? Is that how you pronounce this guy's name? You may have seen him out there on YouTube. I may have his first name wrong. But he was talking about how this is going to be harder for smaller independent brands to grow because the larger brands such as Nike, Adidas, all these energy drinks like that are going to pretty much take over because it's going to have so much recognition that they're going to be able to pour so much more money into skateboarding, and they'll be able to, sell quality boards and quality merchandise for cheaper than a smaller company could. So that's a negative that he was pointing out.
And I can see that, and I can see, the proliferation of, brands like Nike with, on their Nike skateboarding line, and, that becoming even more omnipresent and things like that. But I think there's always going to be a contingency that, goes against that and, rebels against that and, supports the local skater-owned company that, puts out, a run of 100 boards at, $10 more than the Nike board or whatever.
Well, this is a horrible analogy, but it may be like Starbucks versus your local coffee companies and your your hipsters in those coffee shops that pretty much refuse to go to Starbucks. It's gonna be kind of similar. It's a bad analogy, I know, and skaters probably hate that. That's kind of what it's like, what it might be like.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who I dip my toe into both sides. I wear Nike skateboarding shoes. I like them. I skate on, a mainstream board right now is Santa Cruz, but I'm setting up a Super 8 skate, a smaller company deck right now for my next ride. So, I mean, I see, there's good and there's positives on both sides. Sometimes you just need a cheaper thing. But there's also some other stuff, some smaller brands out there that I'm looking to try out that I think, will benefit from people wanting to, just not be a part of the big corporate takeover of skateboarding.
Yeah, that is going to be an issue, I think. But I think another issue is going to be that, the Olympics have had somewhat of a bad rap about, just in general, how they've gotten workers and such to set up things in various areas, and how it just really leaves a negative effect once they're in and out of there. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to see that in Tokyo.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, these cities, spend all this money constructing all of these, venues, which, for the most part, I mean, what the hell are you going to do with some of these venues after the Olympics are done? I mean, only so many equestrian type events or archery events that you can do. But the cool thing is, if Tokyo, because I'm sure Tokyo did this, built some kind of sweet new skate park, that's going to be used by people long after the Olympics go. In fact, that's probably going to be a huge draw for Tokyo right there. Is, go skate the Olympic Park. I mean, hell, if I'd love to go to Tokyo just for that.
Yeah, that would be an awesome trip. it would be really cool. But what do you think? Do you think that they're gonna have uniforms in skateboarding? Do you think they're gonna, you know, be like wearing spandex, or, you know, maybe I would see them wearing like, you know, big shorts and, you know, or pants of some sort, and then, you know, jerseys or something like that.
So there is going to be a uniform of some sort. We haven't seen any leaked photos or footage of that yet. So my guess is it will be, you know, like you see what, you know, like Nigel when he skates at like the Mountain Dew games and stuff like that, where he's like wearing a pair of Nike SB shorts and a Nike shirt. It'll be something like that, where, you know, it'll say like Team USA T-shirt with, you know, maybe they've got a branded pants, or maybe they just have you wear a, you know, a nondescript pair of pants.
Well, I think Dell was saying that the only thing that they can wear that is sponsored are possibly the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes and their boards, obviously.
Yeah, their boards, right.
Can be from their sponsors.
But honestly,
yeah,
it can't just
be their clothing.
And also, it can't just be any board, though. Apparently, there was a skater, and I can't remember who it was, who had a particular board or sponsor, and the Olympics said, no, this is not a legitimate enough brand to have in the Olympics, which is kind of weird.
Which doesn't make sense to me, because for one, for the most part, the Olympics are supposed to be non-professional athletes.
Right.
That was always the whole thing, and
well, but,
you know that, you know, when so it just is weird to me, one, that you're even using sponsored people in the Olympics, and then two, you know, that you would say that someone sponsored doesn't qualify. You know,
or a specific sponsor doesn't qualify, right? Or isn't legitimate enough to be represented in the Olympics.
The only thing I could think of is it's somebody like FA, where the F stands for the F word, and it's printed very legibly on the bottom of their board.
Right, because obviously the Olympics are trying to make this family friendly, where, you know, the family can gather around a couple weeks out of the summer and watch, you know, the world coming together, you know, competing. And you know, there's also an argument of, you know, is skateboarding a sport, or is it an art? I personally think it's both. Otherwise, it wouldn't be competitions. I mean, I guess there's also art competitions, so you can't call that, you know, a sport necessarily. So, you know, what do you think?
Well, and guys, we can make everything a competition. I mean, you don't have to be you don't even have to be with somebody else. You know, most people are in competition with themselves when they're skating. They're like, they're trying to do it better than they did yesterday. They're trying to do it better than they did that morning.
And, you know, that's the biggest thing, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of skaters have kind of against the Olympics, is that this isn't necessarily a sport. This is an art form. This is, you know, this is how I identify individually. But, you know, ultimately, realistically, they're going to the park or to the street or, you know, to some kind of ramp, and they're always trying to improve. I know that when I go out, that I'm definitely trying to improve. I'm not very good, but I am trying to improve, whether it be my balance or, you know, riding switch or something like that, you know, trying to get better at that specific thing.
Yeah, and yes, you're right. You know, this is, you know, for a lot of people, this is how you identify. You know, you're like, you know, even before you say, you know, I'm an American, I'm a skateboarder.
Exactly.
You know, that's, you know, what you say. You know, whereas, you know, someone who's, you know, an archer, they don't go around saying, you know, I'm an archer, or, you know, they don't wear clothes that brand them as, you know, an archer.
Yep.
Or something like that, or a synchronized swimmer.
Exactly.
You know, that's not a thing. You know, it's not so much a culture. It's something you do, yes, but it's not who you are. You don't live and breathe it like, you know, skateboarders do. You know,
exactly. And you know, there's some hardcore skateboarders out there that skate every day. I wish I was able to do that, quite honestly.
Me too. Yes, I admire the heck out of anybody who does that.
It's pretty rad, and I think those are the ones probably that are that are probably most likely against this. But in general, man, and I think that dude, I can't remember if it's Josh Katz or not. He basically said that skateboarding is going to be skateboarding, and Dell was saying that, you know, we progress as a society, we progress in technology, we're always, you know, advancing, trying to find the next new thing. So this right here could be the next new thing in skateboarding, or the next generation, so to speak. This is how, you know, young kids are going to grow up much differently than we did, learning what skateboarding is. To us, it was totally different.
Oh, much different. Yeah. I mean, for hell, you know, growing up in Wills Point, Texas, there was, you know, no skate shops. There was no, you know, there was hardly anybody around us who skated. You know, we had no access to MTV, so we weren't watching any skateboarding stuff on there. So, you know, I mean, unless you found a magazine with it,
yeah,
you know, or someone's videotape, you know, you didn't know what was happening with skateboarding.
Yeah, you're right about
but now
that.
You can just type in skateboarding into Yahoo or YouTube, and you know, see all kinds of videos from all over the world of people skateboarding at every single level, which is awesome.
Okay, so we have a comment here. Well, first of all, Crystal says that she hopes that they don't have uniforms, maybe like team T-shirts or hoodies or something like that. Jeff in the chat here, he says that I think it's Zephyr skateboard team had a basic T-shirt. Just do it with USA on it. Skateboarding is he says that skateboarding is a sport. Show him a top skateboarder that is, and he said this, not me, I'm quoting, fat. You know?
a top skateboarder that is fat?
Yeah, he said he said that skateboarding is a sport. Show him a top skateboarder who's fat. That's what he said.
I right off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody.
I can't either. Crystal says, uniform-wise, they just need the Olympic rings on it, and which lets them look how they always look, something like that. Okay, Crystal, thanks for your input, Jeff. Crystal, really appreciate you guys chiming in on this topic here, and I don't mind being corrected whenever I pronounce things wrong as well, so go ahead and leave a phonetical spelling down below so I can see how to pronounce things, of everything in the world. Nate, I see.
Hey, am I still frozen?
You're still frozen, buddy. I can't fix that unless I take the time to do that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to take the time to do that today. I just know next time to capture a different window and perhaps upgrade my internet speed, and at some point upgrade this computer.
All right, well, if you guys want to start a GoFundMe to upgrade Josh's computer, well, let's get it going right now. We're taking donations. We're not proud.
Nate started that. Thanks, Nate. It's for the live streaming. That's all I would use it for. Wouldn't use it for video editing or anything else.
Oh, golly.
Oh, golly.
All right, what else we got about this?
Well, you know,
other aspects.
It's just that, I don't know, man. I think that no matter what, skateboarding is going to be skateboarding. Whether it's in the Olympics, whether it's on the street, whether it's, you know, in a subculture. I think some things are going to be changed. I think there's going to be a little more exposure to skateboarding in the mainstream and a little more acceptance. I mean, there already is, because people our age are going skating with their kids now. You know?
All right, so here's one negative for me.
Okay.
I don't want, when someone knows that, here's that I'm a skateboarder, wants to compare what I do to what they see people doing in the Olympics. I don't want my aunt in Iowa to be like, I just saw Nigel Huston in these games, the Olympic games here. Is that what you do? They're like, no, Aunt Sandy, you would be terribly disappointed when you see how I skate compared to Nigel.
Well, that's true. And so you're afraid maybe like your aunt would come up and skateboard flex on you?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well, Nate, I think that's about it, man. I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you, everyone, for joining us here on the live stream today. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. We like likes. I mean, that is if you like it. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Jeff, we're happy to have you here. Crystal, as always, thank you so much for showing up here in this live stream. And Nate, do you have anything else for the masses?
Feel free to leave us some comments. What other kind of content would you like to see as a stream, as a premiere, or a published or polished video?
All right.
And
well, that sounds.
And let us know, how we can do better, or.
Okay. All right.
Disagree with us, argue with us.
That sounds great, Nate. That sounds great. We're gonna go ahead and roll this bumper and see your way out. Welcome home, Nate. Or it looks like you're at your postal center.
All right.
All right.
I am.
I'll talk to you later, buddy. You have a great one, and everyone else, you guys have a great evening. See you later.
Bye.